Hey YouTube, welcome back to Universe X, and today we are going to start what hopefully is a little bit of a content train until the day I have to get on a plane to go to Nationals. So I'm excited. I hope you're excited. Felt a little short about it yesterday, early today, my concept of time gone. But we're gonna get some good stuff done and we're gonna have some fun doing it. Just want to put it out there that by the time I get to Nats, I definitely want to meet a lot of people. Thinking about doing a little montage. But I want to meet a lot of people. So if you're part of the UniX fam, look for me. I'm definitely going to be ready to record any meeting and greeting with anybody that's a fan of the channel. It's going to be a good time. I just want to give a quick shout out to Bandai for making the game, because even when we have some differences in design opinion, like most of this set for me, I still am so happy to be able to play this game and have so much fun with it. So if you haven't been to the Facebook groups, you should check them out. There's the official one. That gives all the official announcements and, you know, just events and spoilers. And there's the community one where we all just pretty much talk. There's also a Discord for Universe X, that's pretty tight. And yeah, you guys also should be checking out the gym that is TCGMetalZ. They make excellent metal cards, won't stop. Dude is an artist, he's always looking to improve his craft. And for this time, you can put in the code UNIX, that's UNIX, to get 10% off your total order. So I think it's good to hop over into. So when it comes to this sort of stuff, I have to stop myself and back up because I'm almost done plugging, but I wasn't done yet plugging. If you like the content, think about hitting the subscribe button. I'm really just trying to grow the channel, and I have a lot of fun doing it, but the bigger the channel grows, the easier it's going to be for me to just do things like giveaways and travel to events and make more content. So, you know, every bit of support helps, and I appreciate all of it. So thank you, all of you. Now getting into this, I just wanted to pretty much say that, like, it's kind of weird. I've been looking at Saiyan Showdown, and it's very odd to me because this is a very lukewarm set. You want to buy singles, in my opinion, and sets shouldn't be like this. Every now and then you can't help but make maybe what some people call a miss, but this is for us 2 sets in a row now. Set 14 was a very singles buy set. Set 15 is looking to be the same way. And these videos will be leading into kind of a payoff where I talk about where I think design is kind of dropping the ball. But I do want to talk about Saiyan Showdown as a whole and what I think about each archetype and a couple of criteria. Those criteria will actually be, of course, for each leader, the color, the leader strength, archetype strength, meta potential, room for growth. And breaking down each leader like that, we're going to be doing 4 leaders in this first video because I had a little bit of explanation on top of it, but then we're going to be doing the other 5 leaders in the next video. So hopefully you guys like this one. Stay tuned for the next one. I just wanted to kind of go over the archetypes in a format where you can kind of come back and look at it before looking at the other videos to kind of see where I'm going, see? So we're gonna hop right into it. We're gonna start off with Goten. Red Goten, okay. Color, we already just said red Goten. So fitting into a really interesting space of powerful but not meta relevant. That's where I'd say red is right now going into 2021 Nationals. His leader strength. I won't front you, like, he's up on the screen. Goten's front side is abysmal. It's a vanilla leader. It's a set 1 leader. You swing and he draws, and then he has his awakening condition, which is having a 3-drop unison on the board or 4 life or less, and he's a draw 2 leader, not an untap leader. So his front side is pretty abysmal. There's no way you can just cut it, but his backside is actually pretty solid. You're still going to draw when you swing, but you're also going to be able to Spirit Boost 1 to go up 10k and pop something with 15k or less on the board. That makes a lot of pressure. 25k base leader swing is nothing to scoff at, but also removing potentially a blocker for a follow-up play later or a annoying target is actually really, really, really good. So don't sleep on that other effect. Now the effect to bring a 1-drop Goku to the board, it gets negated, so you don't even, after you use it, so you don't even really need to use it, really. I think that because it only cantrips when you use it from the hand, sometimes it's just better to play that 1-drop Goku from the hand, use 2 energy for his effect, 3 cost to, you know, make your leader a ginormous triple strike. I think that's better than, like, you can use the effect if you know you have no other choice, and the momentum would just be so much better if you get it from your deck. But the other thing is, or your grave, I think is discard. But the other thing is, you have to be at 3 or less life. So, look, there's nothing really to defend Goten. No, archetype strength, that's laughable. There is no archetype for Goten. It is very loose. It's a bunch of bad red cards. However, Videl is very, very strong. If there's anything to take away from red on this end, it is the Videl super combo counterplay. It is a spirit boosted, better Yamcha. Mechanically, it is better. It literally is worded differently than Yamcha, and that is something that is just, it should not be overlooked. Because of the way it's worded, you're not necessarily going to get screwed by certain counter windows. So she's actually a very, very powerful asset. However, right now, 3-drop unisons are powerful in red, but they're not necessarily the golden standard. So you're not always going to be, like, you're in a position to play it. Like, you may side in 3-drop unisons or maybe play a couple in there for some top ends, but consistently using Videl is going to be very weird. So, yeah, that's what I was laughing at. There's not really archetype strength here. It's very, very, very loose, very weak. Now, meta potential, absolutely not right now. It's just not happening. Nobody's rolling up playing this in a serious tournament unless they're trolling. However, room for growth, the leader is so generic that all we need is another snapped, like a good 3-drop unison, and you'll start looking at this leader different. You'll start looking at Videl counterplay different, and you could potentially do some really nice stuff. But we need the cards to carry this leader, because this leader is not carrying itself. Let's be real. But once you do have a good 3-drop unison and you are using your Videls, you get to a weird point where, you know, your leader can potentially just crank it up to 25 just because. He can destroy something in the way just because, and then he starts looking a lot better. So I think there's a lot of room for Goten to grow. It's just not going to be hot seeing him now. Next, we're going to move over to Red Broly. Again, they're trying to move away from the normal red stuff. It's just kind of a little odd in this case. When it comes to leader strength, his front side is almost snapped, okay? Almost snapped. He's able to discard a red extra card and draw 2 on swing, which is monstrous because your deck's supposed to play a lot of extra cards, a lot of red extra cards, and so that's going to be great. He filters so well on his front side. Then he has an alternative awakening condition. When you have, it's like, well, actually, he doesn't have an alternative awakening condition. That's actually the downside. Sorry, almost messed up there. His downsides, you can only play Broly cards in your deck, which means you're getting cut off from some of Red's best cards. Your Merciless Barrages, your New Ruler, like your good super combos. That's actually like a really big problem. I get it, Broly's not a team player, he doesn't really play with the team, it's just him, but to cut him off, to ostracize him from all of the red cards that make red good, you know, that's a little rough. I'm not sure how I feel about that one. Actually, I'm sure about how I feel about that one. I don't like it. I don't like that at all. Makes me feel like just very odd about playing red with this card, because you're not really playing red, you're playing Broly. Now, the awakening has to be 3 or less, and that is so scary. Like, we have triple strikes in the game. Like, no. And the ability for somebody to, like, hit you down to 2 and then chompa you, or chompa you and then hit you for 1 single strike, like, that is very, very scary. I think that's just an outcome that we don't need, and it's really rough to awaken at that level. And the deck allows you to do it, but yeah, it's just really scary to awaken with that low health. Archetype strength? You know, there's a lot of cards that do things, and you can filter through them. If you ever see a dead extra card, you just drop it when you swing, you draw 2. So the archetype is cohesive, but the issue for me is that early game, all you're doing is filtering and not much else in this deck. And that's fair, certain decks are like that, but you don't really have an option to play an early game. But then your mid game isn't anything special compared to some of the mid game yellow or blue yellow bosses. And then on top of that, your late game isn't anything compared to blue. So this deck, I don't see it having a space to play effectively at any point in the game. Mid game is its strongest, and its mid game is not stronger than most of the mid game we already have out. So that's a little disappointing. I was still kind of on leader strength, hopped over his backside. The fact that his leader strength is going to allow you to draw a card, if you have 7 or more red extras, you can activate the activate battle of a non-red field card with a without paying its energy cost at the cost of 3. So you're going to be able to recycle some of these effects. That can get really cool. You can give them critical, double strike for free. You can give them attack power free. There's a lot of things you can give them. That's really cool. And then because you're running so many extra cards, you're going to be able to discard an extra card for 5k, much like Dark Broly could tribute or sacrifice a 30k black battle card for 5k. In this case, it's a little more balanced because you're not swinging with them. So it's not like you're just turning threats into combo power to be reused as threats. So this is a lot more balanced, and I can't really refute that. But yeah, in terms of archetype strength, I think there's not really a solid place for this thing to play. Room to grow. I'm not gonna say there's much room to grow, because archetypes, the more peculiar archetypes get, the harder it is to print support. Like, think about it. To print support for this deck, you either have to make a red Broly, which doesn't sound hard, but a red Broly that interacts with extra cards. That's when it gets specific. Or you have to make a 3-cost extra card with an activate battle skill, which isn't hard, but you know they were trying to make it to be used Broly if they do that. They have to go out of their way to make support for a leader like this, because he doesn't organically gain assets from just good red cards coming out, especially battle cards. Can't even look their way if they're not named Brody. So that's a bit unfortunate. The next one we're gonna go to is Blue Kaba. Okay, I feel like in this video he's easily the most promising to me. He's blue, of course, and his front side. Choose one Universe 6 card in your hand, discard it, draw 2 cards. Amazing filtering. When your life is at 4 or less, or you have a blue unison with specified cost of 2 in play, draw 2 cards, add cards up to your from your life to your hand until you have 6 life, then flip this card over. Okay, here we go. This front side is amazing. Good filter, and that filter is not color locked whatsoever. You can have a blue-green Universe 6 deck, a blue-yellow, a blue-red. Either way, you discard a Universe 6 card and you draw 2 cards. So that is amazing. Not gonna hate on that in any way, shape, or form. The fact that you can awaken at 4 life or by playing a 2-drop unison means you can awaken pretty much whenever you want him to. This is also very, very good. Now his backside, auto once per turn if it's your opponent's turn. When you play a blue Universe 6 card, switch up to one of your blue energy to active mode. Auto and card attacks, draw 1 card, and then yeah, activate battle. You can spirit boost to use up to 1 Universe 6 card in your drop area, and skills are negated. So here's the couple things about it. Its backside is an arrival enabler, because it's going to allow you to just try to combo with an arrival piece. It's cool that on your opponent's turn, it's going to refund you when you play a Universe 6 card, whether that's arrival or just come into play effect. So yes, you'll have to pay full price for it, but it's always going to refund one to you once per turn. This gives you incentive to play on your opponent's turn, which is good. Decks that can play on your opponent's turn, I think, are just so much more flexible. But I like that. So this is really, really cool. When it comes to leader strength, its front side is very strong, and its backside is also very decent. Not like busted, but very decent. As far as the archetype strength goes, this leader makes blue arrival stronger, and it makes come into play blues stronger. So I think in terms of the archetype though, you have some bunch of kind of meh cards. A lot of the hit cards seem over costly, but they come into play, and some of them are things like critical, so you don't want to like pretend like, oh crap, like this just come in for 1 less, because it's going to refund you 1. Kaba Proud Zenith is actually a very, very, very good card. But as far as archetypes go, this one's kind of loose too. I think because there's so many U6 cards already, they're expecting you to splash. They didn't go like too hard or heavy in what U6 stuff is out here. In terms of meta presence, it's kind of weird. I think this can rock in the meta. I don't think it'll ever be meta, at least not for the time being, because almost anything you can do with this deck, you could probably be better off tweaking it to a degree and just playing in Soul Striker. And so as long as Soul Striker is here being literally the better blue leader, I don't really see a reason to want to run Kaba over that. So I'm going to say fairly low meta presence. Now room to grow, that is going to be very, very high. U7 or U6 is a very popular brand in this, like, you know, just franchise. People will love playing new Kales and Khalifas and Kabas as long as they're good, new hits. And blue and yellow seem to be the color they've been on for the longest. They've already been in most colors. Green first, then red, then you know, blue and yellow, now blue, yellow, and now in this set, blue. So I don't think it's gonna be that hard for them to get support. They could literally print a blue U6 card and it's gonna probably do something for this deck. So there's a lot of room for this to grow. Plus it's just blue and most of its effect is generic. As long as you run a general U6 core, you're gonna be able to discard blue and do some things. So I like that. I really like that. And then lastly, we're gonna move over to Kale. Kale is, again, kind of a sad bunch. I do think Kale is a little bit of sad bunch. I said Cad like Kale and said. Her first front side is abysmal. It's like Goten. She's gonna draw when she picks up a card, or swing when she picks up a card when she swings. An auto. At the end of your turn, place one card into this card into your energy in rest mode. And when your life is at 4 or less, you can draw one card, switch to one energy active mode, and flip it over. So she doesn't have an alt win condition. She needs to be at 4 life. And in blue, to get down to 4 life, that kind of sucks. On top of that, she has got just a normal swing, but her second auto, you'll see when you look over these cards, most of these cards take 2 energy to put something underneath your leader. So she's a vanilla for at least 2 turns. And that feels terrible. Like, that feels awful. Yeah, nah. And you're gonna look at her backside. When this card attacks, draw 1 card, and then her auto is the same, except at the end of each player's turn. Like, they're giving you open chances to start stacking that many cards underneath her. Like, it's just wonky to get cards underneath her, and it's wild that her front and back sides have the same effects, making them essentially both useless for early game, sometimes mid game. If you don't have breath space just to cast 2 for that. Now you got activate battle once per turn. This card gains 5,000 power for the battle for each card under this card. That's kind of cool. Wish it was for the turn. But also getting cards under this leader, again, is so slow that this is kind of like a really weird point. It's like, why? Like, what are you guys trying to do here? So again, that makes me super, super sad. As far as leader strength, Kale is kind of a ginormous flop in my opinion. And then you go to archetype strength, and I'm gonna classify that as kind of a flop too. You have 2 or 3 cards that you have to pay 2 to put underneath your leader. You've got an underwhelming unison, and you've got an SR that can work just as well, if not better, in SS4 Vegeta, and that's kind of really rough. Now meta presence, again, it's a no, because there's not a single thing this deck can do that SS4 Vegeta can't do with less archetype specific pieces. That's a stumbling block for this deck. And then lastly, room for it to grow. Well, unfortunately, unless they give us a 1-drop that can be put under Kale so that it can ramp, this deck isn't getting off the floor. It's just facts. Turn 2 and later are just too far. Vegeta can get a swing and use Ultra Kamehameha and get a second energy. This, at the minimum, has to wait. Now, it's guaranteed the minimum has to wait until turn 4. Or turn 2, sorry. And even doing it on turn 2, you're going to be tapping yourself out for it, so maybe even turn 3. There's a lot of ugly nuances and situations that trying to play this leader could put you into, and so that makes me sad. So that was blue and red for archetype overviews, and next video tomorrow I'll be going into green, yellow, and then one in black. And then the day after that, we'll put out another video just kind of outlining Saiyan Showdowns and my thoughts on it. But I just want to know if you guys agree with the way I've just kind of overviewed the decks. Let me know in the comments, and I'll be glad to get back to you as soon as possible. But yeah, just let me know. I want to thank you guys for watching, Subscribe if you like the content, and I will see you the next time you decide to join Universe X. Later.